Good day and welcome to the Automotive Society Podcast.
That was a good intro. Good intro. I like
My name is Siraj, and today I'm joined by Alex.
Yeah, I like the what's the word I'm looking for? Enthusiasm.
The enthusiasm. Yeah.
That scared the heck out of me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Before this, I just did complete silence, and then I just jumped into it.
Yeah. Scared the hell out of me.
Welcome to this episode.
Yep.
Everyone. Today, firstly, how are you going, Alex?
I'm good.
Good?
We're I'm really happy with that we're making progress with our setup.
Yeah.
This will be eventually stuff here.
It probably doesn't look any different, but we've moved a bunch of stuff behind the camera so the camera can move back. We can move a little bit forward. We tried to set up against, that wall that you can't see and that wall that you can't see, but I just wasn't happy with it.
So we came to the conclusion this is the best.
Yeah, for now at least, until we can figure out something better.
Until we get a sponsor. So if you do want to sponsor us, reach out. Our Instagram, the Automotive Society _.
Yep. Or our YouTube channel, The Automotive Society.
And help us get a better setup.
Yes, please. Please. At the moment, it doesn't look too bad from our perspective at least. There's 2 GoPro batteries holding up our camera, which is then, plugged into a wall because the battery's crap and it dies all the time. But, it works.
This is the start.
This is the start
of something bigger.
Humble beginnings.
Humble beginnings. Yeah. I like it.
I hope it's not a humble ending as well.
No time soon.
No. But welcome to today's episode. Today, I wanted to kind of go through Alex's mindset. Okay. I think since January, he's been saying that he wants a new car. He's been looking at new cars. He's always looking at new cars. Let's be honest. I don't think he's ever.
No, my mind runs wild. It starts as one thing and it turns to 15 other options.
Yeah. I think you buy a car and then for the first 2 months, you're just thinking about that car. And then immediately the 2 month flips over and you're like, what's the next car?
Yeah. Well, no, it's longer than 2 months, but yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it normally?
No, it is.
I don't think it is.
No, it's different. It's different at different stages.
Different at different stages.
Because the Scirocco was 6 months and I was like, I want a new car.
Yeah. How long did the BMW appeal to you?
My one now?
Yeah.
Still does. I actually love it. I really do.
But you've been looking for a new car for a long time.
I am, because I'm in now a price bracket where I want to be, where the cars that I was dreaming about 4 years ago, I can now afford.
Audi R8?
No, not quite there.
Oh, okay.
No.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
That's the next one.
Well, it's either a house deposit or an Audi R8.
Audi R8.
No.
Oh,
it's not happening. Bit overkill.
He has.
We tried, boys.
Different priorities. We'll get a new co-host. It's okay. We can make this work.
An Audi R8 is not coming. It is definitely not coming.
But, okay, let's start at the beginning, Alex. What was your criteria? Why did you want a new car in the first place?
You'll find this funny, all right? Because I remember we had this conversation and I said to you, when you were like, what's your criteria for the next car so you could help me decide? Because I feel like every time I think about getting a new car, the first person I go to is you, and I'm always like, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think?
Yeah.
Because you're very mechanical minded. I'm not as mechanical minded.
Yeah.
I just look at what's cool, what's comfortable, whatever. And I drive it heaps. And do you remember what I said to you about the little story about the car that I wanted?
No. What?
Okay, so the story that he probably doesn't remember, this is back in January.
Oh, is this
December.
it needs to
do
this.
Yeah.
From then it needs to go there. From there it needs to go there.
So I pretty much said to him, I was like, look, I need to be able to go to work Monday to Friday, drive all day, no problems.
Yeah.
I need it to be comfortable. I preferably wanted it as a sports automatic.
Yep.
Just not a general, rubbish automatic.
Yep.
I wanted it to go on a road trip up to Gold Coast or something like that, or away out of Sydney, carry not everything, you can always fold down the back seats or whatever, come back, be ready to go to Jindabyne to the snow.
Yep.
And on the way back, hit a track day.
Yes.
And then go back to work again on, the next week. That was my criteria. And it wasn't to say that I had to be good at everything. It was just more the fact I had to be able to do all those things. And as much as I can do this in my BMW, the first time I went away with my BMW, we took it up to, where did we go? Foster.
Yep.
and it was raining that day, and it was a campsite. You remember this, with like heaps of mud, grass. It was all soaked, muddy areas. And some of the sections of road, I had no choice but to pile through. And I was absolutely putting my foot down to get through these massive puddles of mud, right? Not to say that you can't do that in any car, you probably can.
Yep.
But on the way back from that trip, it developed cylinder 5 misfire. And it was 12 o'clock at night near the Central Coast somewhere. I don't even remember where.
Even further. I think it was like
almost
further. Newcastle.
No, it wasn't. It was like Tuggerah, I think. So it was like it was above the Central Coast, but not quite Newcastle because it was south of that. And then he had to pick me up at like 1 a.m. in the morning with a trailer.
Yeah.
And drive me back.
I had to drive to a friend's house, grab his Prado, which could tow a Land Cruiser.
Rent a trailer.
And then drive all the way 2 hours from here,
I think it was about an hour and a half.
No, it was definitely more. With a trailer, it was like
2 hours. You get to Newcastle, and I know it was south of Newcastle.
Yeah, but I was with a trailer, so it's not
true.
like
for you, it was probably a little while.
It's not like I was doing 110 the whole way.
Yeah.
And then meet you, which was some random back road. Thankfully, it was a back road, not the motorway.
Yeah, but it was like a main back road.
Yeah,
because it was like 2 lanes wide, and the only thing in sight was a United petrol station. That was it.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
So then, I remember we put your car in the trailer, drove it all the way back here to the mechanics, dropped it off. I think it was at 2, 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And then dropped the trailer off, dropped the Land Cruiser off, and then,
I went to work the next day, called the mechanic, gave him my keys to my car, and he goes, that's all right, like I'll look into it. So he calls me, I don't know, literally an hour and a half later. It wasn't long.
Yeah.
And I said, what was wrong? Misfire? What was it? And he goes, honestly, I think it was just a build-up of some sort of gunk or something's gone through the intake, because he pulled out a spark plug, checked it, nothing wrong with it, put it back in, started it, worked fine.
Yep.
It was a $120 fix.
Yep.
And he still didn't know what he does to this day. So looking back on that now, it's like, well, the car was a little bit uncomfortable on that road trip, because that road trip was how long? Like 2 and a bit hours, I think?
Yeah, it wasn't that long.
It wasn't massive.
No.
But it was 2 and a bit hours there and 2 and a bit hours back. And it wasn't the most comfortable car, to be fair.
Yep.
Fuel, I don't really care about massively. But fitting anything in the boot was just... It was good, but it was very hard.
It was nightmarish.
Yeah, it was like it was like everything was Tetrised into my car.
Was it you who put a lot of your stuff in my car?
No, that was Shashank.
Okay, someone else. Yeah.
Someone else used your car a lot.
Yeah, I remember I drove back with a lot of stuff, someone else's stuff in my boot, because I, being the smart man that I am, took a huge Jeep Grand Cherokee, all-wheel drive, very good for off-roading.
Yeah. You had everything in there.
It was very comfortable. I slept in the car because it was that comfortable. I had my little bed set up there. I had pillows and bed sheets and blankets.
Yeah.
And it was the most comfortable camping night I've ever spent out. It was so good.
And I think we really enjoyed ourselves. Actually, it was fun actually, because it's a good story now.
Yeah.
But looking back on it, I actually did quite like the car, but if I was traveling a bit lighter. But I was carrying 5 different camp chairs for people. I was carrying
Yeah, you had people in your car.
I had a lot there was only 2 people in my car, but the seats were folded down. The whole thing was full.
Yeah, but obviously you had your stuff.
Yeah,
you had the
other
2
people's stuff, and everything was packed in my car. And I don't know what it was, but it didn't ride that well. It was a bit uncomfortable. The leather seats, this. Leather seats can be hard.
Yeah, they get uncomfortable after a while. I know this because I drove the Jeep back from Melbourne in one go, in one sitting by myself. And oh my God, did those seats get uncomfortable. You know what I found out why it was uncomfortable?
Why?
Because I didn't adjust the lumbar support. But because I only own 90s crap cars and stuff.
They don't have lumbar support.
They don't have it. So I didn't even think of it. I honestly... It didn't even cross my mind that the lumbar support could be making me uncomfortable.
Are you the same as me? So when you're on a road trip, right? You got to adjust a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make this a TMI, right? But you start with sort of the one butt cheek.
Yeah.
And then after about an hour or something, you sort of just shift over to the other butt cheek.
Yeah, that's me. Right? Yeah.
Okay.
Eventually, this is probably... I should probably not say this. But eventually, I had one of my legs folded up, and I was sitting on top of
I do that all the time.
On top of my leg.
I do it all the time. It's great.
I was just so uncomfortable. It was a 9.5 hour drive for me. It was also raining, and I just needed some sort of way to get comfortable. And I remember I stopped once to get fuel.
Yeah.
Stopped once to get fuel because I needed to. and I got out and my legs just immediately buckled because they hadn't
moved.
I hadn't walked in 6 hours or 7 hours.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my God, I really need to stretch before I get back in the car.
But it's, you know what? It's one of those things, right? So every time I'm on a long road trip, in most cars, like bigger cars, like in a Jeep or my mum's SUV, like everything's pretty comfortable. However, you know what I mean by this, but when you start a road trip, you start with maybe like no lumbar support and it's okay. But the problem is at that point, when your back starts to tell you it's hurting, which now that we're old, right? Welcome,
it's very soon.
Right? It's now for me, right? But, you get to that point where your back starts hurting just a little bit.
Yep.
And then it doesn't matter what you do. You can add 10 times more lumbar support. You can add bolstering. You can add anything you like. But as soon as it starts hurting, it never stops. It just keeps going. It gets worse, right?
Yeah. I'm the opposite, right? So I start off with full lumbar support.
Yeah.
And I get rid of it. The more I drive, the more I get rid of it. By the time I finish driving, there's no lumbar support left. Like I just retract it.
Yeah, completely.
So just so I can slouch.
Yeah.
Because I feel like after a long period of time, slouching is the most comfortable. It's probably not the best for your back. Oh, well, it's definitely not the best for your back, but it's the most comfortable for long periods of time. If you sit there with your back straight up like this for a long period of time, it can get really uncomfortable.
It's so funny you bring up the leg thing. So last time I went to Jindabyne, right? Because I have to move, like Jindabyne's 6 a bit hours generally, 5.5, 6. And we usually do it in one go, but we stop at Canberra. But on the way, like I do this. So I do what you do. I like tuck the leg under.
Yeah.
But then out of my mind, because my mind is funny, all right, I just go, you know what if I did it with the other leg? So I do it with the other leg and I start accelerating and braking with the left leg.
I do that too, yeah.
I shouldn't have said that, but anyways, just have fun. But then you got to try this next time on your next road trip. Try left leg only. So tuck your leg under. So it's left leg only. Okay. But then move your seat back, like down, right? Like that. So you're driving with the bottom of the steering wheel and left leg. It is the best challenge. And your mind just keeps busy. Before you know it, 45 minutes gone. Seriously. And then you try with the knee as well. Have you ever tried that one?
This guy's trying to do like inverted controls in real life.
I'm just like gymnastics, man.
It's like Rocket League on the road. It's probably the most dangerous thing I've heard.
It's hilarious.
Yeah,
it's so much fun because everybody else in the car is just chilling, right?
Yeah.
And they just look at you and they go, Alex, what are you doing? You'd be like, nothing. Nothing at all.
Well, I was driving by myself, so I had no one to yell at me.
Yeah.
I even had my pillow. Like at one point, I was driving with one hand and I was grabbing my pillow out from the back.
Yeah.
And then I put my pillow across my lap, and I was like, "Oh, this is so comfortable." And then I'd put it on the
door.
I couldn't quite reach the door trim.
Have you noticed?
It's
every
just
door trim,
a little bit too far.
Every door trim is just that too much far away.
You know, obviously, a lot of us like. A lot of our cars were small cars, right? The E30, oh my God, like it was right there.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because the steering wheel was big or because the
Supra was the best one. Do you remember the Supra? It used to just,
like right there.
It's perfect.
Same as my RX-7, it's right there. But every Japanese cars are the best with this. Actually, I think Japanese cars, the armrest is right there.
Can I make a comment on
European cars? It's always a bit too far.
It's a bit too far, but let me make a comment about the Jeep. Right? Is it safe to say the Jeep was made for a human being with more proportionate?
Yes. I mean, Americans. We're going to say Americans. It was made for Americans.
It's made for more generous people.
Americans are, usually bigger people than...
We like Americans on this show, by the way.
Well, not Australians, I would like to say. Like, Australians are normally big. We're just...
But the problem is we're not that Australian, are we?
We're immigrants.
Welcome to the Immigrant Podcast, full of cars.
We have immigrant number 1 and immigrant number 2.
We made it.
No one's noticed us yet. We've done it.
Moving on. We are PRs.
I'm more than that.
Before the government comes for us, all right, we're legal.
One of us. One.
But back to the road trip thing, right? So, like I was thinking about it, and I think 90% of my driving is work, which is a fair comment, right?
Yep.
Probably like 8% of it would be like holidays.
Road trips.
Or road trips.
Yep.
And like 2% might be like, going to the track.
Performance driving.
Yeah, or actually, let's say performance driving is 5%. It's a bit higher than that because, we go to...
You do it on the road.
Yeah, we do it on the road, right?
Yeah. Or not breaking the speed limit.
No.
Just taking, windy roads on the weekends.
General cruises.
Yeah.
With other Australian people. And, it's...
Don't check his papers.
No, my papers are legal.
He's fine.
Stop bringing the government on me, man. Far out, they're going to track me down.
All right, I'll move on then. I'll move on.
But that was the criteria. Really just saying like, I wanted a lot of my driving to be daily. Daily, but fun daily, right?
Yeah. See, like, I didn't quite get you because I didn't used to drive for work that much.
Yeah.
But now I do. Like,
and you get it, right? It's
I feel like I pretty much almost drive as much as you for work now.
Distance-wise... For sure.
Yeah,
probably
so I drive
more.
300... Oh, not 300. What am I saying? I drive, 160 Ks a day?
Yeah.
Usually, 170 Ks a day. And I've realised, especially in Sydney start-stop traffic, if I leave at peak hour, which I usually do, it's insane. My Evo clutch, I've gone through twice as fast as I normally would, right? And now I have the Civic, and I've been driving the Civic around. I have never in my life worn out clutches this much. I can feel it on the Civic. I feel like I am wearing my clutch out a lot sooner, a lot quicker than I usually would. So I'm at the point where I kind of need an automatic for everyday driving. Otherwise, I'm just going to destroy whatever I have.
Yeah, and like that's exactly it, right? So I'm just looking. This is my auto track for work, right? This is just... So pretty much I can't track, for tax purposes, I can't track my distance from home to the office, but I can track everything from the office going to appointments and back. And then as soon as the end of the day, I turn it off, right?
Yeah, okay.
So far this month alone,
yep,
I've done 780 kilometers this month for work only.
780 kilometers.
And that's work only. So that's not driving to the city for friends.
Yep.
That's nothing else. That is literally just work driving.
Yep.
And the more I think about that, like so much of my kilometers are put on work driving. I'm ready to get into either a newer manual, which is a lot easier to drive than an older manual. Like just easier in traffic and stuff with more forgiving clutches.
I kind of get you.
Or something that's like
DCT.
a nice DCT because for me, Volkswagen DCT's never been great. They've been a bit jerky at low speeds, and that. But
but for like performance driving, they're great, right?
Right. But they're just not.
I feel like
they're not as engaging though. That's my only.
I feel like
issue.
you can put up with them on everyday driving. It's
I
not
think
like
so.
they're horrendous. But I think I know what you're talking about. You're talking about more like an RS3 S-tronic kind of thing, right?
That sort of thing. Because, like our friend's got an i30N, 8-speed ZF gearbox, right?
Yep.
DCT.
Yep.
Brilliant. Yeah. Absolutely brilliant, right?
BMW seems to do ZF boxes really well.
But you immediately go to the Volkswagen DSG, right? Like in a maybe not the Mark 8, but the 7.
Yeah.
Was under 10 kilometers an hour, start-stop. Terrible. It's the most uncomfortable thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's still a clutch at the end of the day. It's still a manual gearbox at the end of the day, right? Like, it's just automatic actuation in a manual gearbox. So if you're driving really slowly, the clutch is still engaging, disengaging.
Yeah, that's
it's not like it's not an automatic at the end of the day is what I'm trying to say. It won't have the same characteristics.
No, it never will. But I just think for me that's what I was leaning towards. So
yeah, which is totally fair enough.
But alternatively, the other option I did look at is maybe something that is automatic. Maybe it's not as sports, I guess, orientated, but something that is a bit like has a bit more character because it's a bit more old.
Be like chip
well, it's a bit but it's also a bit more old school. So I mean, we went through a phase where I was looking. Oh, you tell me. I don't remember what I was looking at now. I was looking at a lot. I was looking at M140Is, hatchbacks. I mean, they were DCT.
So I think your first characteristics were obviously everyday driver, comfortable, sporty, and something with 4 doors. 4
doors, preferably,
and something that could do the kilometers reliably, and take a good amount of people places and use
and
places,
it didn't
like,
have
and your stuff like you weren't cramped, right? So I think you started off with not really hatchbacks. I think you had more like little.
Well, I had the M140i.
Bigger hatchbacks.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So I had the M140i we went through.
Yeah.
We went through the CLA 45 AMG.
Yeah, I remember that. And the S3.
And the S3.
Those were your first three choices.
Because I actually think that range of car, I know M140i isn't quite in there because it's not that small sedan, and you were right. Like, you told me an S3 as a car is actually really, really nice. And it is, but an S3 is just a smidge boring, in my opinion.
I wouldn't call it boring. I would call it...
less engaging.
Yeah, like too perfect.
Yeah.
Right?
And the CLA is, for me, one of the better cars I ever drove.
Yeah. I think the CLA 45 is a really good
The gearbox
car.
is a bit...
The sedan.
Yeah.
I don't think I've driven the CLA, but I've driven the A45 AMG.
Which is, similar.
Which is the same drivetrain, I think.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah.
And the gearbox on that, I did not like. It was like you were driving down the road, and I'm going to do sound effects here. So driving down the road, you're like, meh.
This needs to come with a disclaimer warning.
And then you go, click, meh, boom.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, like there was that half a second before it shifted. And that half a second killed me. Because when I press that button, I want it to be in the next
Yeah, you
gear.
want bang. You want in. Yeah.
Which is something they didn't do right. I don't know why. I have no idea. I don't think Mercedes wants to go down the sports DSG or dual clutch.
Look, I didn't really understand it, right? Because to me, like, usually the gearbox is rubbish or it's good with an auto, right?
Yeah.
You can't necessarily tune a rubbish one to make it better. Well, you can a little bit, but you're never going to get it that good.
Like
so
Audi, you can.
Yeah. But more I looked into CLA, the more issues I started to see, which was a lot of people were complaining that from a stop sign or a red light, putting your foot down would take half a second before the accelerator engages.
Yeah. You can tune them.
You can tune that, and you can also throttle controllers and things like that help.
Yeah.
But the biggest issue was that when you're not on literally full acceleration, above 5,000 RPM, absolutely hammering the engine, the gearbox is exactly what you said.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's quite good when you're absolutely smashing through the gears, high RPM.
Maybe that's what I needed. I didn't push the A45 AMG. It was just me taking it for a road test as a mechanic, right?
Yeah.
So I wasn't banging through the gears. I just wanted to drive it, make sure I couldn't hear any noises.
I think the thing though with it that I sort of came to the end conclusion, they are quick around a track, generally speaking.
Yeah.
But that CLA as a shape, perfect. As a body style, perfect. But two complaints that I always had online when I kept reading about people who own them was they're not that engaging. I'd probably prefer an M2.
Even the CLA.
Yeah.
I thought it was quite good.
Well, the electric steering, apparently the steering's a bit numb and all the rest of it. But the one thing I got drawn to me about that car, and you said this heaps of times, the interior on them are actually really nice.
Oh, I love the interior. The material that they use is like an Alcantara suede kind of material, along with the leather.
Yeah, it's a good balance.
And it's always got the red stitching.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for red stitching.
Here we go, stitching. Whoop-de-doo, yeah.
I love a good stitch because it's like, it's the way to spice up a black interior, right?
Yeah.
You look at a black interior and you go, cool, another black interior. But then you get the red stitching and you're like, oh, it's not just any black interior. Like, it's got a little bit of character to it. I kind of sort of like it. I talked about this last time, but I think Alfa Romeo does really nice interiors.
Very
as well.
nice, yeah.
They have different colored stitching, and I think they really make the interior pop with it. It's black, so it's not like in your face, but the stitching just adds a bit of character, so it's not boring at the same time, right? It's the best of both worlds.
And they usually have like the Alfa logo embroidered, like in a seat or in the headrest,
which is pretty cool. But no, Mercedes A45 AMGs have one of the best interiors I've ever been in. It just feels quality. It doesn't feel like I've gotten in, like the Jeep kind of feels cheap leather, like pleather.
Yeah.
It feels like the plastic is good, but it can break. You know, like it's got the plastic vinyl with the wood.
Yes, the woody finish.
Design. Yeah. Which normally would be class, right? But you look at it and you go, that just feels like cheap.
Yeah, it's like, here's the standard and they've just taken the one down from it. Yeah. And that's the one they've put in the car.
Yeah, whereas the Mercedes one actually feels quality. They don't have to put in the wood or random vinyl designs.
Or they do that piano black piece of plastic or the silver plastic.
Yeah.
But the one thing I was looking into is like at that I guess when we went through this whole dive, like we were all looking around the 50 to 60 mark price point. And at the 50 to 60 mark price point, you're stuck in between this weird range where in 2015, they actually updated the car.
Yes.
And came with a race mode. And to get the car as best as you can get it, you have to get a 2015 with the front and rear sports differentials, right?
Yes.
And then obviously because we're car guys, you wanted the carbon fiber lip, the carbon fiber spoiler, and all the other bits and pieces, right? Yep. But there is a model where in 2015, anything built in 2015 for the CLA range has the old face, but the new, gizmos and all the rest of it inside, right? So I said to myself, well, the 2016 was just that bit too new. It was a bit too expensive. And when you wanted the sport mode with the LSDs front and rear, I mean, you were talking $75,000.
Yeah.
Right? And I have this mental thing that, like, if I can't get exactly what I want in that range of car, I'm not interested. I don't want to.
Yeah, I understand. And I know a lot of our audience is going to be like, oh, what a prissy privileged guy. But if it's a car that you're going to live in, 8 hours a day or something, maybe not even 8 hours, like even 5 hours or more, you want it to be nice. You want it to be how you like it. You want every little thing to be...
Yeah, like you have your mind set on that,
You don't... The more time you spend and the more you see something that you don't like a tiny bit, and you go, oh, I'll just ignore it.
It irritates you more and more.
Yeah. You just start hating the car and resenting it. And if you resent the car and you're still spending 5 hours, it just puts you in a bad mood, right? You spend that much time in your car, you want it to be nice, you want it to be perfect. I know there's the other end of the spectrum. I'm the other end of the spectrum where if I've got a crap box where I really don't care about it, right? For example, the Impreza or the Civic. I don't know if I've spoken about the Impreza, but the Impreza, where it's so bad that I think it adds to the character. So I learn to ignore it. I go, oh yeah, whatever. I ignore it to the point where I've done this with many of my cars, where the passenger, like you or someone else, gets in, and you're driving down the road, and you're like, "What is that ticking sound? Isn't that annoying?" And I'm like, "Oh, what ticking sound?" And then because
you forget about it, right?
Yeah, I listen for it, and I'm like, "Oh, that ticking noise. Don't worry about that ticking noise." And you just learn to ignore it, right? So there's opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
You either have an old crap box where you completely ignore everything that goes wrong with it, even if it's major.
Yeah.
And then the other end of the spectrum where the car is so perfect that, I don't know, your logo being like 2 degrees to the left more than you like it
will annoy you.
Annoy the crap out of you.
But the thing for me was like, I'm big into LSDs and all the rest of it, but I know people watching this probably just buy the LSD. Yeah. But the Mercedes has so much electronics in it. It's not as simple as buying an LSD. Like any aftermarket LSD is never going to be as good as the Mercedes AMG aftermarket.
That is true.
AMG.
That is true.
And you're just playing with fire there. Like it's just not even worth going down that track.
And Mercedes is one of those brands that makes it harder for you to do aftermarket. Right?
Yeah.
It's not a brand that prefers it. Like if you get a Toyota 86, they love it. Toyota loves you modifying them. There's so many...
Everything's bolt-on, two plugs.
There's so many
6 bolts. It's so easy.
On the chassis of the 86 where you go, wow, why does this extra aftermarket bit just bolt into this perfect space? You know? Because Toyota designed it that way. They want you to play with the car. That was the whole point of a cheap, affordable sports car. Whereas Mercedes...
It's hard. Like everything
Mercedes
is very
goes
hard.
the other way, right? Mercedes goes... This is a perfectly engineered car. Do not touch it. And that's the other end of the spectrum.
And I think that like most people have this concept that yes, you can do those things, but you're opening up a can of worms, and if it's your daily, you just don't want to deal with it, right?
Yeah.
And tracking back on, everything that I looked into in that car, because I was on the edge of literally pulling the trigger on a CLA 45.
Yeah.
I was so close. But for that 50 to 60K range mark, I'll be honest, like there was no better interior I could find than the CLA. It was that nice inside. Yeah. And one thing I learned was the seats in a CLA, they are 3 layers of leather. They come with a black Napa leather, a red Napa leather with another black on top of it. It is a 3-layered leather seat.
Really?
Yeah. And that's the reason that when you look at a CLA, the perforated holes, you get the red shining through. That's the second layer underneath. And when you hear about the amount of work and effort and engineering gone into that car, it's amazing. But a couple of things turned me off it. Every time I read anything anybody who came from a CLA to an M2 was always saying, I would take an M2. And you know me, if I bought a CLA, I would be in exactly the same position saying I should have bought an M2.
Yeah, yeah. But the M2 is out of the bracket.
I've got it, but I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel. I'm scraping early year models, 120,000 Ks.
Yeah, okay.
Not the old N55, not the new B58. So not the competition.
Kind of puts you in the same position with your car that you currently own.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And power-wise, it's pretty much on par with what I've got already.
For anyone that doesn't know, Alex owns a 135i, and that's basically like a smaller M2, not even
lighter as well.
Yeah.
But with the stage 2 chip, power to weight will be a little bit less than an M2. It's close, put it that way.
Yeah. Because as a refresher, let's say, if someone found us on YouTube, what mods does your car have? It's got
a full stage 2 setup on it. So it's got dual cone intakes on it. It's got catless downpipe. We've got a full 7.5 inch. Was it cob tuning?
Yep.
Intercooler done on it, and a full stage 2 MHD flash on it.
Yep.
Which made an enormous difference to the power. It is ridiculous what it comes from stock to what it is.
Yeah.
Not that it's been dynoed yet, but Mr. Professional, butt dyno, 240 odd maybe.
Yeah, I would say 250-ish kilowatts.
At
the wheels. Yeah, it feels like it at least. So it's definitely got the torque.
And it pulls different because I guess it's a 6 turbo. It pulls from like 2 all the way up.
Yeah.
It's not quite as it's quite linear throughout.
Yeah, which is kind of what you want on a car that you drive every day.
Yeah.
So in that terms, it's done nicely.
That was the best decision I ever made. Like linear power.
Yeah.
All day is the best.
Yeah, but it's also made your car more unreliable.
Yeah,
but like any modifications do, right?
It always does.
That's the whole point of modifications.
It's also BMW. You touch one thing, and you will get a Christmas tree of lights.
The Christmas tree of lights is very BMW, but you touch one thing and it's a can of worms. Is like every car.
Yeah,
I think I've gone through with my Evo a million times where I started off with a bone stock Evo and I was like, I'm just going to do the intake, just the intake manifold.
And it just keeps going, right?
Well, yeah, because my intake manifold my bolt-on intake manifold wouldn't bolt on, and which needed new fuel rails, which I was like, may as well do injectors, which then are fuel pressure regulator
and
to
it keeps
support
going.
The fuel system, which then needed a new fuel pump. And then obviously because my intake manifold's there, I'm going to get new intercooler piping. Then where's the piping going to? The turbo? Or let's upgrade the turbo, let's upgrade the exhaust manifold. And it just snowballed to the point where it is today, where nothing on its stock, I think. Except for the pistons, the internals, nothing is stock.
Yeah, everything's modified, right?
Which made it highly unreliable, as you would obviously expect. And also the price of the upgrades that I need to do now, like I destroyed my clutch, right? Completely. Totally on me. It's a single plate clutch rated for 300 Newton meters. My car makes 800 Newton meters.
Yeah.
So it was bound to happen at some point, right? But a new clutch to handle that much power, firstly, something twin plate, and secondly, something that's upwards of $1,500, $1,600.
Yeah.
And
they're going to be heavy.
And they're going to be... Oh, you mean like driving-wise?
Like driving-wise, they're going to be
apparently
heavy.
Mine is lighter than OEM.
Really?
Well, I'll put it in and we'll have a look. I got a light and flywheel. I got a twin plate clutch.
Yeah.
And then obviously I've got all the new bits and pieces. I'm not changing it from a pull type. I'm going to keep it a pull type clutch, which is, let's see how it goes. A little bit unorthodox, but we'll see.
Whack it in, see what happens.
Yeah, see what happens. Yeah. And I'll let you guys know if twin plate clutches are actually good or not. I've driven the OS Gaikin, which is an Australian brand. One of the most expensive clutches. I think they're $2,500 to $3,000 at least. Amazing.
Really?
Yeah, the clutch pedal is lighter. Twin plate. It is a bit harder to drive, as you would expect, but once you get used to it, you're fine with it.
In terms of what? Biting points?
Biting points aggressive, yeah. So when you get on the biting point, you got to be at the right RPM for it to let go. If you're too low, it'll just stall out. If you're too high, you'll launch.
Right. Okay.
right? So if you're at the right RPM, smooth, perfect every time.
Yeah.
But you got to know.
You have to get used to it. Yeah.
Which means for a daily car, if you're sitting in traffic, it means you need to be attentive. You can't zone out, which sometimes I want to do. Sometimes
but you're okay because you've got so many cars, right?
Yeah, like I mean, that's like the last car that I would take in traffic.
Yeah.
Right. Like I have so many choices. I probably would never drive that in traffic.
Because it's funny, right? I was sitting on the Harbour Bridge on Tuesday night, right?
Yeah.
Sitting there in traffic, I was talking to my friends and we were talking about cars and, you know, what we want to buy next and all the rest of it. And I did the whole thing without even thinking about, you know, manual, no issues, right?
Yeah.
But if I was sitting there and sitting in it back in my E30, all I would be complaining about on the phone is the clutch. The clutch is terrible. Please get me out of this traffic. You know, like I want to move on.
Yeah.
Because I drive that much for work, it just kills me.
Yeah,
you know?
which
And
is
it stacks up.
understandable. I think age obviously has a different thing to it, right? Like your tolerance level is a little bit different.
I think so.
Because I used to tolerate a lot more. Obviously, I've only had manuals, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's not obvious, but I've only had manuals because I'm a car guy and that's what I always believed that I wanted. And it's true, but I've never had to drive to work more than, an hour.
Yeah.
Now I have to drive to work, which is more than an hour. Now I'm finally starting to feel it. And then I think the age also is a massive factor.
It catches up. And you know what the biggest thing is? Man, some of these seats that I've sat in, like the newest style seats on, you know, hatchbacks, like an RS 280 Megane, right?
Yeah.
They were actually really nice because they're real thick seats.
Yeah.
But if you get out of that and get into like a i30N, they've got these Recaro skinny bucket seat things.
Yeah.
And they are so uncomfortable.
The i30N.
They look great.
Yeah.
Oh, they look great for 40 minutes an hour. But like if you were going 2 hours in that car, your back would be in so much pain.
What material are they, do you know?
Oh, they're like a suede insert in the middle with a leather on the outside.
Yeah. Okay, but that makes sense.
No adjustable lumbar.
Yeah. So
like
suede is just leather backwards.
Yeah.
Or reversed, the other side, and then leather is uncomfortable. So it's a hard bucket seat, so that's what makes it uncomfortable.
And there's not much padding actually
like
in the
I've been
seat.
in a lot of Recaros, which are cloth, like factory Recaros, like Honda Recaros, my Evos.
Honda Recaros generally have been really good for me.
Yeah, because they're fabric, right? So when you sit in it, you kind of sink in it a little bit, which means you have
the depth
room
of
to
the
play
seat. They have a lot of cushion in it, right?
Yeah.
But
that's what I'm saying. Like you have a lot of movement.
Yeah. But if you get in a Megane seat, not the newest Megane, the one before the RS 250 or whatever, the Recaro things.
Yeah.
They are comfortable, I will admit. But after about half an hour, they are not great.
Yeah.
They are firm.
I have gone to the other extreme. Like my S14 used to have Bride bucket seats, which were suede.
I actually quite like them, to be honest.
But I found them really, really comfortable, right? I didn't get to a point where after a while I'd find them uncomfortable, but at the same time, it was so long ago and I was so young. Like I was 19.
That's the thing I have to keep reminding myself. Like when I dealt with this rubbish of, you know, uncomfortable seats and things didn't fit and rattles and I was 18,
yeah, exactly.
19.
So as a 19-year-old, I was like, these are so comfortable and I love them so much. But I wonder if I get in them today as a 25-year-old and say the exact same thing, because I doubt I will.
I probably would, but you probably would hate them after 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Driving daily traffic.
Yeah. If I had to do the clutch with those seats, I'd probably be over it real quick. If it was an automatic with bucket seats, I'd probably be okay because you don't have to move that much.
Yeah.
The only thing that's uncomfortable about bucket seats is that your feet are stuck together and you don't have movement in your feet. So if you can sit in the same position without fidgeting,
you're okay. But I fidget, I move, I shift.
Then you're okay. But same thing with me. I move a lot, and the Evo does the same thing. But at least I have a bit of push.
Yeah.
So I'm okay. But I went from the 86, which has bucket seats, which are the loosest bucket seats I've ever felt in my life.
Yeah.
There may as well be a Honda Odyssey at that point.
But
you sit so wide and you're comfortable, but then that's also uncomfortable because after 20 minutes you sit so wide that you start
slouching, you move down the seat.
Yeah, you start to have really bad posture, which really kills you after 20 minutes. And I hate that.
And so the thing with going back to that, like Mercedes seats and stuff, right? they have like a bucket seat, but they're like a real plush bucket seat.
Yeah.
With a bit of, I'm going to sneeze. That's not good. Did you mute me?
I caught you.
Oh, good work. Good work. Thanks for the save. But they're like modern bucket seats, right? Now, you've like, just to, I guess, put this back into perspective, a Renault Megane RS 280, the new things, right?
Yeah.
They have like a plush bucket seat, like the Honda thing, right?
Yep.
But if you move into like a Mercedes or a Scirocco or a Golf R or something, right? They are the, how do we call this? Mass selling bucket seat. You know the ones that have bolster, but they're quite wide bolsters?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or they have, leg support, but they're quite wide leg support. So yes, they are, I guess, comfortable, but they're not that hugging in terms of seats.
Well, obviously, because they have to be bucket seats for everyone.
Right?
Right. One size fits all is not really a thing when it comes to
But
seats.
the one thing that always dragged me back to that M140i thing, BMW, throughout, most of the BMWs I've ever had, like, or M Sport seats, they are so comfortable and so adjustable. And you can adjust in my car the lumbar, the bolster support. You can adjust the leg support to come like further out or further in, like, under your knees.
Yeah.
And the adjustment you get in the seats is so much, but in the Mercedes, it's not that good.
No, I can imagine. Sounds about right, to be honest.
So after all of that and all the research I did on a CLA, it was no good.
No. And then what did we move on to? A Lexus.
Well, I had that phase where I wanted a V8.
So the ISF.
Well, I had two choices. I wanted an ISF or a 300C or 300 SRT.
Oh, the Chrysler. That's some big changes. Like you went Japanese comfort or
Well, I wanted a V8.
Big V8 from America.
But the reason why is I've always had a big love for M3s and M5s, bigger sort of sedan M3s or.
Did you think about the V8?
The
V8
V8. Yeah.
Did you think about them?
I have.
What did you think?
There is some major repairs that need to be done like the minute you buy them. And we're talking $5,000 to $7,000. Like,
right. So basically you would buy a BMW if they weren't unreliable.
I would buy an E90 M3 if I could find one in really good condition and they factored in the price that I would have to spend about $5,000 on the engine because the bottom end needs some work straight away.
Okay.
They were flawed from factory.
So that's what's holding you back.
On that, yes.
Unreliability.
If I found...
Well, that's like as every BMW I've mentioned so far, except
Pretty
for
much.
the M140i.
Yeah, which is different because that's a B58, which is the same engine as the Supra.
Yeah.
So they're very, very similar. Parts are easy. Parts are cheap. But I think the body shape of an M140i, I've been there. I've done the whole hatchback thing. Sorry, I've done the whole rear-wheel drive hatchback thing. Let's put it that way. I haven't done a full four-wheel drive hatchback.
That's true.
And I think that's the reason why I did order the Corolla.
Rear-wheel drive? What rear-wheel drive hatchback have you done?
M140i.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay.
Not that I've done, no, but like I've done the whole hatchback thing.
Yeah.
And
Like
I think the only other thing left for me in the hatchback game is like a Focus RS or one of those four-wheel drive Yaris GR, like one of those sort of things.
Oh, we'll get to that too.
Right.
Okay, so the ISF.
In all honesty,
You're still into it.
I am still into it. And I think that if I can find one at a reasonable price.
Everyone's sort of like talking you out of it. I'm one of them because I think it's a great car. Honestly, don't get me wrong. I think the ISF is one of the best cars. I love Lexus.
Such a good car, man.
I will still say this till the day I die. I love Lexus. But a Lexus is a great supplement to your weekend performance car.
Yes.
Right? Lexus is a great car to have 5-6 days a week, but there's got to be that one day a week where you go, you know what, today I don't feel like ultimate comfort and ultimate amazing. I want something
a bit more comfortable. And that...
Oh, not really more comfortable. ISF is really comfortable.
Yeah.
There comes a time where there's a Sunday, right? And you just want to go for a drive with your partner in something that's light, small, and
like an MX-5 or something like that.
And something you can just throw around the corners, right?
Yeah.
ISF is not something you can throw around in corners.
It definitely isn't.
It's a very heavy car. You can definitely feel it.
Really heavy.
But it's super comfortable, does everything else you want. Even the track. It does the track really well.
Like, I'm not going to set records, but can I go there and have fun with it? Yeah, I could. But
could you hit Macquarie Pass with it? No.
Not fast. No.
Not in a fun way. I think if we went together, for example, like the MX-5 would pull away.
Oh,
because
easy.
I would do the corners at speed limit and you can't.
No.
Because you'll just...
And the thing that I did always, like as a child, right, from the age of like 5 or 6 or 7, the one dream car I always had was an M5.
Yeah.
Right? So the thinking around the whole big V8 thing was, like, can you imagine, right? You remember James's SS?
I do.
Right? And that thing, did you ever go down Old Pack with it?
No, I do.
Okay, it was stupidly quick. Like,
really?
Like MCA coilovers, Nitto NTO3s, I think, the semi-slick things. It had full bushings and coilovers all the way through it, 6-speed manual. And this is in a Holden Commodore Ute, right? So it's not the most typical, sports car.
Yeah.
But I remember going down there with my Supra. And my Supra was, I'm not going to say it was the fastest thing, but it was pretty good, let's say.
Yeah, okay.
I got demolished.
That's crazy.
By like, I'm not talking like couple hundred meters. Like, I'm talking like a good like 800 meters. That thing was so quick.
That is crazy.
So quick. And the one thing that I looked at was like, well, that is a heavy car. Like, how much did those things weigh, those Utes? 1.7, 1.8 tons?
I would say so.
Yeah. And that was a quick car. And we track back and look at like things like an M5. Like an M5 is quite a quick car, right?
Yeah.
And my thinking around the whole SRT thing was the power is already in a Chrysler, right? You don't really need much more there. It's done.
No.
But imagine that with MCA coilovers. Imagine it with, polyurethane bushings. Imagine it with sway bars front and rear. Strut braces, right? It. Yeah, maybe.
The whole point of it is for comfort, like the ultimate comfort.
But the thing about it,
right? Put into suspension, the amount of money they've put into making it soft and comfortable, you're ruining, right?
Well, possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
However, an M5, would you say is comfortable? Like, I don't think it's comfortable.
No.
I say it's firm.
Yeah.
It's not uncomfortable, but it is firm.
But so you making that stiffer is making it better?
In my eyes, I quite like a little bit of a firm car. Like, my car's a little bit
firm.
firm.
Too.
Not coilover firm, but, like...
Oh, no, I pretty much like coilover firm. I kind of like feeling the road.
I do as well, yeah.
I kind of get lost if I can't feel anything on the road with the car. So the MX-5 for me is really nice because I can feel pebbles on the road.
I love it. It's so nice. It's such a nice feeling.
No power steering. So it's literally you are connected to the road physically by a shaft.
And you drive literally at full throttle. Like
everywhere
and you're not speeding.
Yeah, everywhere you go, you drive at full throttle. See, the Civic is the same, right? It's super light, weighs nothing.
Yeah.
And everything else about it is the same. And it's lower than the MX-5.
Yeah, it's definitely lower, 100%.
But because it's got power steering, I don't feel the same roar.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel it as like I can't feel the road as much as I can at the MX-5.
No.
Which is crazy to think. Even though the Civic is no slouch, like it goes around corners quite...
It does. It's a fun car.
Quick.
Yeah.
But it's a momentum car.
Yeah.
So as long as I don't hit the brakes, which I don't need to because it doesn't go fast enough, I'm having fun.
And like, I think that was the idea. It was like the 300 was going to be the substitute to my dream of having an old, like an M5.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And the more I went down the track of a 300, the whole engine issues and weird reliability,
now it's even discontinued.
It's discontinued now, right? And to be honest, there's still a soft spot there for a 300 SRT. Like the fact that you think about this, right?
I'll talk him out of it. Don't worry.
And to be honest, I've come to the conclusion I will not buy one. Okay, I've decided that. However, there is something nice about having the biggest production V8 currently in production.
Yeah,
right?
I guess I sort of get you, right? Like I like having. We have a old Rolls Royce, which is an old V8 and is a cruiser. Similar in sort of fashion.
Yeah, I know what you mean. 4 doors V8.
Personality-wise, right?
Yeah.
It's meant to be a cruiser, not a performance car.
Yeah.
And I like it, but I think we seem to take it out less than we take out. It's on historic retro, so first of all, you take it out less anyway. But so was my E30 and so was my MX-5. Oh, so is my MX-5 on historic. And I seem to take out the Rolls-Royce the least. Because when you want to take out a car, if it's a car that you don't drive every day anyway, you immediately want to go for something a little bit more fun and a little bit more
That's
character.
it. You want something different.
You don't want something comfortable, slow, and heavy being a boat.
But it's different, right? Because
Unless I take my family. But
Yeah,
that's
that'd be
like
cool.
a once in a while thing,
yeah.
right?
But I think the thing is, you've got multiple cars. Like, I won't have that. That's my.
But you still have access.
I still have access.
Like, you still have the Porsche,
Yeah.
which is a comfortable everyday cruiser.
Yeah, so
if you really want to take your family or anyone else
Yeah.
around, you don't need the 300 to be that.
And to be honest, in the end, the thing that really killed it for me was,
fuel efficiency.
well, I wasn't massively concerned about it, but the fuel,
But it will kill you.
But the fuel efficiency on the 300, like, there is bad, like if you're a V8, like an M3 or something.
Yeah.
And then there's about a couple tiers above it, which is like diesel SUVs towing. And then there's the 300.
Yeah,
right?
it's bad.
It averaged, like, I read a forum, and I don't know if this is true or not, but it was averaging this guy 22 litres per 100.
Man, I don't know what you do there, Chrysler, but
It's
my God,
crazy.
you guys love to drink fuel.
I know. It's
Like,
just...
our Jeep is a gas guzzler, right? Like,
And it was just a V6, like...
Yeah, it's
and
just
it's
a
nothing like...
V6.
It's not a performance.
you go down the road and you've just suddenly lost, that many liters, and you're like, what is this? What is happening here? It's horrendous with fuel economy, and especially considering that I tow cars with it. Oh my God. On the highway, it's fine. On the highway, I think I get 9.8 liters per 100.
Yeah.
Which
It's just your stop-start.
is decent.
Yeah. And
just
because,
stop.
like, SUVs generally, they're actually pretty good on the highway. I mean, you remember driving back from Queensland when we picked up my mum's car, right? I think we got it down to 5...
I think you did like 1,000 Ks to the tank.
We did 5.8 kilometers per 100 on the highway.
Yeah.
And we filled the tank in Gold Coast. By the time we got back to Sydney, we still had 300 kilometers left.
Yeah, which was amazing,
Yeah.
right? Like one of the...
I mean, diesel, which is a bit different.
Yeah. Well, that's what diesel's made
yeah.
for, right? It's made for just torque. So you just sort of have your foot on 10% and you leave it there the whole motorway.
But it was so good. And to be honest, like, sorry, just to get back on topic, but the 300's gone. It's not happening.
Good.
The ISF and an M3 is still on the table.
Okay.
However, I am still going to wait for that Corolla, I think, at the moment.
I would go for the M3. Oh, let's talk about the Corolla.
Yeah.
The new GR Corolla, which...
Coming out next year.
A lot of people are excited for. You've put your name down for it.
Yeah.
You're on the waiting list.
Yes, I am. I am on the waiting list, but they did ask me, they said, we cannot tell you what models we're getting. We cannot tell you, you cannot choose spec yet. I cannot choose anything.
Right.
I've got my name on a list and they've got some money from me.
You're just going to one day get a call, come here, spec it up and put a deposit on it.
Pretty much. So the idea around it, if anybody is thinking of doing this, you go out to your local Toyota dealership, talk to, what's usually a car salesperson's name? I think it's usually a Darren. I think Darren is a very car salesy person.
Darren?
Yeah, don't you think?
Darren?
Or Ryan?
This is a really good question. I kind of like it. Yeah.
Simon. Simon is a car.
Simon, yeah. Simon the car
or
salesman.
Steve.
No, Simon is more common.
Okay, so you go down to your local Toyota dealership, you talk to your mate Simon, right? Yeah. Who usually gives you the spiel about the Corolla and all the rest of it. And you go there, you pretty much get a piece of paper and you give him money. That's all you really get.
That's it.
And so this is my local Toyota dealership in our area. And he said to me that they will have a test car in October, November. Ooh. Okay. And that's to test drive for all the people on the waiting list. Now, by that point, some people may have bought cars, whatever it is. I'm number, I think, 16, 17.
Okay.
Okay. So by the time it gets to that point, a couple of people may have bought other cars or whatever.
You might be like...
I might be like 14, 11, 12, something like that.
Yeah.
We all get to test drive that car to see if we like it. Now, I don't know. I doubt it's going to be a circuit edition.
Okay.
Rumor has it they're only making 1,500 to 2,000 circuit editions for the year of 2023 worldwide, which is Australia, Japan, and America.
Kind of makes sense.
Right? So it's a pretty rare sort of car.
Yep.
In December, they said they are getting 3 cars per dealership. Now, more than likely, most of those cars are going to be the Core Edition, which is the red one we've all seen online with no spoiler and whatever else it is. Oh, and they don't have LSDs.
Okay.
So rumor has it they're $7,000 cheaper than the Circuit Edition, which has 2 LSDs, I think a front lip, a spoiler, and a carbon fiber roof. That's pretty much the main difference between the two.
Right.
And then they will have, again, he's guessing this, but he thinks there will be 3 more in January and I think 5 more in February/March.
Okay.
That is all they know.
I think that's a bit of car salesman persuasion going on.
Yeah.
Where they're like, hopefully we'll get this, you know?
It's always hopefully.
Just put your name down and wait for it. Because it is, world as we know it has changed on the automotive, like the whole world.
You're about to say
I was
society.
about to say society, but the automotive
actually it has
sector
changed.
is what I want to say. The automotive sector, because we've run out of parts. We have shortages.
And it's
everywhere.
microchips as well. Like the microchips are just so hard to get
which means you can't spec up your cars. You can't get the special matrix headlights. You can't get the adaptive cruise control. You can just get the normal cruise control. Those are all extra control modules, and control modules require
chips.
The silicon chips that are just
they're stuck. They're just
there.
nothing.
It's just not something that exists at the moment. So unless they reinvent all of the control modules with, you know, different types of chips until they can do alternatives, you're probably not going to see them. Which means we're not probably going to see the cars that are being made now anytime soon.
This is my problem.
January, even for a GR Corolla, is quite optimistic.
I think so. And to be honest, if I find the right car I will take my name off the waiting list.
Yeah.
And I'll just buy another car because I think to me, not to I don't want to be greedy and say I don't want the base model, but look, I'm not a Toyota fanboy, right?
Yeah.
I'm ordering the car. I want the Circuit Edition because it's just so bonkers is the reason I want it. So I think I would be a little bit disappointed if I ended up with the core model, which is the base one.
Basically, I get it. The only thing that can persuade you is the Circuit Edition.
But if that was a BMW, right, and it was being done in a limited run, it'd probably be a bit different. Same with you and someone like a new Evo or a new, RX-7 or something like that, right?
I'm head over heels with the new 400Z at the moment.
Right.
The new Fairlady is amazing. And if I could, I would buy it, right? I just don't.
Prices have been released, by the way. Have you heard?
Yeah, 70-something K?
77,
Australian?
apparently.
77 for base.
For a base.
And then you spec it up.
Well, it's 75, 77 for a base. But they're talking...
That's like super prices almost.
Well, super is 100. I think base price...
Yeah, but by the time you spec it up, that's a base
By the time you
Supra.
spec it up, it's going to be pretty much a base Supra, yeah.
90, 92.
90, 92, yeah. At least.
Yeah.
Minimum.
Although Nissan is not usually known for crazy aftermarket options where they loot you.
Yeah.
Who knows with the new Fairlady, right? They haven't done this sort of car in so long that they might just do it because all the other sports cars are doing it. Why not them? Although Toyota and Subaru are doing really nice with the new BRZ and the new...
Can I just say, the new 86 or BRZ looks great.
I love it.
I think it's brilliant.
I love it. I honestly
It actually makes... Oh, this is going to be a questionable one. Ethan, if you're watching, I'm sorry, but I mean this. The old 86 next to the new 86.
Oh.
Right?
I stand by this.
The old 86 looks like a dog.
Yeah. Okay. No,
not literal dog.
Not looks.
It does. It does. I'm sorry.
No, not looks wise.
It does. 100%.
I still... Okay, depends on how old we're talking. Yes.
2011, 2012 model.
Till 2016, yes, I agree with you. Yeah. But then the newer models with what's the 2017 with
you're talking
the new little spoiler.
Yeah, there. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, put it this way, right? What's the ugliest dog you've seen?
I'm not answering this. They're all cute. I love dogs.
Okay, what's the ugliest animal?
What's the ugliest animal?
Yeah.
I'm going to say, is it that Sphinx cat? That's
the hairless thing?
The hairless thing?
Okay, right. A 2012 to 2016, 86 is like a Sphinx cat hairless thing, okay?
Sorry for all the cat people.
Yeah, sorry for cat people. And then you've got the next bit, which is a 16 to 20, which is a bit more... It's not quite as ugly, but it's not pretty either. What would you put that? That's probably like what? Like a chihuahua, maybe?
I still don't like chihuahuas. But,
okay, all right. So this is what we've got, right? We've got a hairless cat, a chihuahua. I don't know what to compare the new car to. What do I compare the new car to? Give me some... I don't know. It looks really good. I quite like it. Like a leopard.
Like a leopard.
Okay. Right. I know this is a weird analogy, but bear with me here, all right? Bear with me. So we got the 2012 to 2016 86, okay?
Yeah.
That is a hairless Sphinx cat,
Yep.
okay? And it's not great. I'm not going to say it's super ugly because it's a cat, right? But it is a bit ugly.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But for some reason, people buy them. Then you got the 16 to the 20, is it 20?
Yep.
Model, and that's like a Chihuahua. It's not bad. It's a cute little dog, and you know, I don't necessarily want one, but sure, great.
I like it.
Okay?
I think, yeah, I like it.
But the new one is on a full new level, 100%.
See, I would disagree with you.
No, I think it's brilliant.
I think the new one looks not as great as the 2021.
No, see, I just think it's so...
I prefer looks-wise 2020, but that's also two reasons. One, I hated how the 86 looked when it came out in 2012. Like, I wasn't a huge fan.
Hate it then or hate it now?
No. I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. I didn't think it looked as good as the modern cars of the time. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But it grew on me really, really hard. Like, I really started liking it. So, I'm hoping the new one will too, because I haven't seen that many in person. There's only, I don't know, like 10 or 20 that I know of.
I've seen 4.
In Sydney.
Yeah, I've seen 4 in Sydney, and
I'm sure
I can
there's
tell you
more.
right now, in the flesh, right, and I don't know why this is, okay? The back to me, do you remember the Honda NSX, right?
Yes.
The newer one?
Yes.
You know most cars in America look slightly different because
Yes.
the taillights or something
Yeah.
they change. The back end of the new 86, I don't know why, reminds me of an NSX.
Yeah. No, I understand.
Right.
I've seen it in photos, and I think I agree with you 100% there.
And the front, to me, it just doesn't look as... You know the lights, how they have sort of the circle?
Yeah.
The circle bulb.
Yeah.
And then they come up as like a V sort of boomerang style shape. That to me was always a bit weird. I just didn't like it.
I like the headlights on the 2020 than this one.
The new one, though, for me, just... It looks like a clean Lexus.
I don't like the front bumper.
It's
on the front,
brilliant.
but I'm waiting for the facelift of this one.
It'll be interesting, actually.
Drivetrain wise,
It's a 2.2 now?
2.4,
2.4.
and that I am all down for. The F.24 is one of the best boxer engines made, and I am hands down a huge fan of that. The motor, the new gearbox is, I think, the same as the old gearbox and not too much different. But the engine I'm super excited for. They've put it on the dyno in America. I've seen some stats. Okay,
What's it making?
The dip, you know, the torque dip.
Yeah, that was
had?
about, was it 3,000-ish?
No, it was a little bit higher. It was like 5,000, I think.
Right.
It's gone. No more torque dip. Linear curve, right? So naturally aspirated car with a linear
Hold on.
curve.
Can we just track back one step? To a person that doesn't know much about 86s, like me,
Yeah.
what was the original motor?
Oh, the FA20.
Okay. So that was essentially the same, a non-turbo version of what is in the WRX
Yes.
for the equivalent year, right?
Yes.
Okay, and that made how much kilowatts?
Well, the WRX was turbocharged.
Yeah. Sorry, minus the turbo. The same engine was in the 86, right?
Yeah, the 86 made on the dyno, I'd say 109 kilowatts.
That's cute. Anyways, moving on. So the new one is a what? 2.4, and it's an updated version of
Yeah,
the
and
old
it makes
FA20.
145, I think.
At the wheels.
I think at the wheels, yeah.
That's a massive jump.
Because they went from 147 kilowatts at the engine
Yeah.
to now saying that they're 180 something.
Really?
Which is let me fact check myself before I wreck myself.
Before you wreck yourself. No, because this is important. I'm intrigued about this.
Yeah.
Because I must admit, right, 180 odd kilowatts in that car, does that not throw you back to something old school? Like, do you remember like old 200 horsepower like hatches in the early 2000s? Like, you remember the Golf R32?
Yeah.
That had like what, 200 and... I'm trying to remember. I think it was like 180 kilowatts or something, right? NA. And that is a perfect power band for daily driving.
Yep.
If you're in that range, like 180 to 200 NA is one of the best things
So,
you can ever have.
My fact checker told me it's 171 kilowatts-ish
That's brilliant.
from factory, right?
Wow, okay. Is it lighter?
Is it lighter? I think it's the same
Fact
weight.
check. Fact
I
check.
think it's the same weight. I don't think weight-wise they're different. I don't think, at least. But then again, I think what it comes down to me for, I'm not the kind of guy that wants to go out of his way to read specs because I get it.
You want to get in it and drive
I want to get in it and drive. I want to know what it actually feels like. I want to know it can be lighter, but it can feel heavier.
I'm just going to read something out to you here.
Yeah.
This is like a like and dislike of the new 86, right? And this is just, I don't know what website this is, some random thing, okay? What we like, good equipment, blah, 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 whatever is what it is.
I love the new screen inside.
What we don't like so much, rear seat's still a glorified partial shelf.
Well, yeah.
Fair enough,
you
right?
expect that.
And it's it's a ridiculous wait for its local debut. So it seems like everybody's waiting list at the moment is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I think they're a year and a bit wait.
But the amazing thing is here, the outgoing range is 32,000. This is the manual. Is a GT the base? There's
Yes.
GT and GTS, isn't it?
Yes.
And then there's a TS in the Subaru.
Yes.
Okay, so the manual GT basic was 32, and they're talking that the new one will be 35.
Yeah, okay.
Now,
Two different.
I'm sorry, but if you take into account inflation, coronavirus, shortage of chips and all the rest of it, if they can deliver that package at 35 grand, I applaud Toyota.
I think so too.
I think that's brilliant.
They've done it really well. And I think that's the power of mass producing, right? Like mass production.
Yeah.
Is that the fact that you can bring the cost real down because you sell that many more. And Toyota's really good at it. Honda's really good at it. Toyota's really good at it.
Yeah.
Honda didn't do so well in the Australian market, but they do really well overseas. And most smaller Japanese brands do it, right? But what they've done is not only make this car accessible to everyone, they've made it so well engineered and so fun. Like they've given it a character. It's a mass production car with character and personality that you can get in and drive and love it. That I think is what I need to applaud Toyota for.
Yeah.
It's the fact that they haven't just, and Subaru obviously because Subaru made it too, but they haven't just mass produced a cool car. They've mass produced
a car for the people, almost.
An icon.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's an icon. Like, anyone can have it. You can have 3 Lamborghinis and you can still daily drive an 86 or new one or a BRZ.
And you'd love it.
And you'd still love it,
Yeah.
right? It won't be the end of the world.
You know what? Like, I know we went a bit off topic, but I actually agree with you. And it's funny because I actually said to you, I probably would buy the new 86, actually. But,
Me too.
But the thing for me is it's just, well, at least for my personal needs, it's just a bit too small. I just need something bigger.
Yeah.
But you know, like they're coming up with this cool size car at the moment. Like your CLA, they've got the new 2 Series. If you've seen it, the 4-door 2 Series things, they're rubbish.
Yeah.
But the size-wise are great.
Yep.
The RS3, that size of car, like they're really, really nice as well.
Yep.
Hyundai's just released the new i30. Is it N? No, not the Grand Coupe. What's the new one? I think it's an Elantra or something, i30N. It's a sedan i30 Hyundai thing that makes crackles and pops. That's really cool.
Okay.
And they've released the Kona N,
Yes.
right?
I've seen that. That's really cool.
That size of car now, for me, is bang on exactly what I want.
Yeah.
But the problem is there is not enough options in that range.
Yeah. Which leads me to our final decision and what I suggested from the very start. Well, obviously I'm a bad influence, right? I've got plenty of vehicles.
Just before he says this, I know exactly where he's going. He is right, but I've got an issue with it. Continue.
Okay. I suggested to Alex what a normal car enthusiast does. You know, instead of getting one car to do everything perfectly and failing at everything, why not just get 2 cars? One that does the daily driving and the road tripping perfectly.
That's not exactly where I thought you were going, but continue.
Why? What did you think I was going?
I thought you were going to say you should buy an RS3 because that's all you've been telling me to do.
Well, yes, but it's out of your price.
Well, I
bracket
can.
for a good one.
Yeah, for a good one. No,
yeah, which makes
work.
sense. Yeah, I mean, the solution to it was the RS3 because that does everything. And that's also one of the best cars. But as good as the RS3 is, it does lack the personality. It still has
it does.
the engagement issue that the S3 does, just less. You know, like it has more personality than the S3. It's more fun. So instead of you getting bored of it in 2 months, you'll get bored of it in 8 months. You know?
Well, this is a bit I'm about to add to this, right? Because they all know where you're going, right? Which is I should buy 2 cars.
Yes.
Okay. And I agree. I want to.
Yeah.
I am.
Oh,
this is the first time you've heard this.
Yeah.
Because if I can stick within a 50K range, 45, 50 for an M3 or an ISF or whatever I'm going to buy, right? Because even a Corolla's 50.
Yeah.
The new GRs, right? I will have 10 grand left over.
Okay.
And I'll probably have more savings on top of that, and a second car will come.
Okay.
What that car is, I don't want to talk about it because I've got no idea.
So you get the one perfect car that does everything else except for the spirited driving and the track. And then you have one car for the track, because what let you down last time? When we were at the track, we got to, I think, our second or third session, and Alex goes, instead of going for lap times and pushing myself harder, he was like, well, I got to drive home, so I'm going to take it easy.
Yeah, and it's that mentality.
You stopped driving 2 sessions earlier than the day ended because you said, well, I need to drive this tomorrow morning to work.
Yeah.
And if I don't, I need to drive it tomorrow morning for work, not just to work.
You know what? 2 things to add to that, right? I agree with you. Number one, you should have more of a weekender that if you break, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Number one, yes, agreed. Number 2 to this, right? If I had, not that I would, okay, but if I had an MX-5, an 86, something Japanese and a little bit more reliable, I would have hit the last, I would have pushed myself through those last 2 sessions, right?
100%.
And this is the reason that it always tracks back to whatever I buy as a daily, right? I think it either has to be something unreliable in German, right? Because I've always loved that.
Yeah.
Or the ISF.
Yeah.
Or something along the lines of that.
Yeah.
Right? Because I know it sounds stupid, and you know this feeling. Japanese or not Japanese, or German or not German, right?
Yeah.
You know when you get in a car and you just know it always runs well?
Yes.
Okay? And you sometimes get in a car and because you've been in that car for a while, you know it's off.
Yeah.
Or you know it's running weird, or something is broken, or whatever it is. My mentality in that BMW is if you push it that one extra, right, my BMW is going to conquer.
Yeah.
Right? But if I was in an 86 or something,
you wouldn't have that.
I wouldn't even have that thought at all.
Yeah. See, that's the thought you need to go in with.
Yeah.
Because even though I drove my Evo at that time all the time, when I go to a track day, I go in with the thought that
this is going to break.
I want this to break, right? I want to stop having fun because I can't control myself. If my car breaks, that's how I know that my day's ended. And that also tells me what the weakest link on my car is that I need to upgrade for the next time and get faster lap time.
And then you can take it back home and get in your other car and you can sit it in the garage and work on it, right?
Yes, which is what's happening
the advantage
right now.
Right? Which is the advantage of me having a second car.
Yes,
in a nutshell.
Exactly.
However, I guess that first car still has to meet majority of those needs before.
Yeah. It also means that you will enjoy both cars more.
Yeah.
That's what I find.
Yeah.
I enjoy all my cars more. Instead of being sick of the Evo sitting in traffic, I can enjoy it for what it was made for, what I built it for.
Yeah.
And also enjoy my everyday car for what it is built for. Right?
Yes. Yeah. And
I would hate the Civic if it wasn't, in its current form, as a spirited driving car, because it's slow, it's crap. I haven't done anything to it. I have rattles from the panels.
Oh, rattles kill me.
Right? But if I strip it out and make it a track car, that's a different story.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm loving it because daily driving it, I get 600 kilometers to a 40-litre tank, which for me
huge.
Which for me is amazing. It's super comfortable on a daily drive. I've got a stereo with nice music that I can play from my phone, and that's everything I need.
Can I just add, by the way, I did a trip computer on my last tank of fuel.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm not going to say I didn't speed massively, but I was, how do we say this? Accelerating at a decent pace up to the speed limit most of the day, or, driving like I do.
Yeah.
Total. You want to have a guess out of 60 litres?
Out of 60 litres?
Yeah.
I do want to have a guess.
Okay. And this is start-stop. I went to I'll give you a bit of background. Work 5 days a week. I went to the city once.
Okay.
Twice, sorry, in that time in the one tank, all right?
Yeah, okay.
So a little bit of consistent 60-kilometre-hour driving, a little bit start and stop mixture. Have a guess.
350.
Smidge more.
Smidge more?
Smidge.
What, 380?
368.
Okay.
out of a 60-litre tank. 368 kilometers out of 60 litres.
Yeah. I mean, you're doing better than the RX-7
ridiculous.
is. That is on par with my Evo.
I don't know what that comes out at,
And
but
my Evo is on E85.
like someone do the calculations, okay?
Yeah.
And send me what it means. I'll work it out later, but it's crazy.
It's not good.
It's not good. It's not good.
But it's not bad. You had fun in those 368
But it's funny, right?
kilometers.
Everyone says to me, "Oh, don't you want like a Tesla?" Because there was a 10 grand Tesla, 5 grand cash back on Tesla, right?
Yeah.
5 months ago, I could have bought a brand new Tesla. What is it? Model 3,
yeah.
right? Nothing good. The base spec thing, and I would have got 5 grand cash back from the government. And, great for work, but boring. I've got one life. I'm sorry, I'm not buying a base model Tesla.
My family actually took one of those offers. They live in California.
Yeah.
In the Bay Area.
Yeah.
I don't know if I shouldn't probably say that. But anyway,
Hi to the Bay Area.
they live in the Bay Area, and they've just recently bought a Tesla Model X.
That's the SUV, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Firstly, why do Teslas only come in white? Have you realized that?
Well, they come in black. I've seen them in black.
I only see them in white.
Black, white, and red. Also, there's one in my area, and it's bright pink.
Really?
Yeah, Model X as well.
I have not seen that. But the only ones I've seen are all white.
They're always white.
Every single one.
I know.
Always white. Most electric cars,
They're always white.
mostly white.
No, that's a lie, actually. I saw a Nissan, something Zoe. It's called a Zoe. Nissan Zoe, Renault Zoe. It's called a Zoe, whatever it was. And it was electric,
I don't know. What
right?
it is. Yeah.
Blue. Only blue. I've seen 4 or 5 of them.
Nissan
Only
Leaf?
Blue.
Blue.
Only blue.
Yeah, that's true. Nissan, you're doing it right.
Yeah. Blue only.
Yeah. Put some color
You
in
know
the
what?
world.
You know what I don't get about this? It's going to be a bit of a rant. Sorry, this is going to be a long episode, but this is going to be a rant.
Yeah.
Why do electric cars always feel the need to have like an environmental name, right? So you've got the Leaf, right?
Yeah.
Great, okay.
No. Okay, it's not that.
And you got
I get it.
the Prius. It is the most depressing name
Yeah.
I've ever heard. You know what a Prius
I know where
sounds
you're
like?
coming from.
You know when a dead person lies in a coffin, right?
Jesus.
Okay? And they say, "Oh, excuse me, sir, let me just put the Prius under his body before you bury." Like, it's so depressing. The word is just not good. Like, you've got to come up with something better than this, people. Come on.
It's not the name that I have a problem with. It's the looks. Stop trying to make it look futuristic.
You just make it look like a normal car.
It looks crap. I would go out of my way and buy... I'm saying this. I would buy an electric car in my budget.
Yeah.
Right? If it looked like a normal car. Those new Hyundai electric things, why?
Which one are they? Are they the weird
Why?
SUV things?
Yeah. Why are you trying to make your car look so whack? Why are you trying to be so different to the people? I understand it's electric. I get it. Put a little EV badge at the back. Your number plate already says EV in it. Like, in New South Wales, for an electric vehicle...
Yeah, it has to have the EV
has
thing,
to have
doesn't
the
it?
EV on their number plate. We know you're an EV. Stop trying to make it look
Hold on, and can I just
futuristic.
add to this, right?
It
What's
looks
it
like-
called?
Looks like RoboCop.
The Iconica 5 or something?
Oh, yeah. Ionic?
Ionic 5.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but what was, like, why? What is special about it?
Dude,
And
I do not understand. Stop trying to look like RoboCop.
it's ridiculous.
I don't need RoboCop or iRobot on the road. That's what they look like.
And can I just add, right? The one car that I actually have seen in electric and I thought looked actually very nice, and I don't know if it's full electric, but the EQC 400, it's like a GLE but electric.
We don't have it here, do we?
Yeah, we do. I saw one on the road.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know they've.
But
yeah.
that is the only car that I have seen that looks in electric form like mint. Like, I would go in and go have a look at one.
Okay.
That is it.
Far out. That is one of my rants. I understand the name thing. Yes.
Man.
Please name them right. Ionic? What are you doing?
And like, how come every name these days, okay? And you probably agree with me. All these like high tech, when they have something special. Oh, this is the first car with whatever it is, seatbelts or whatever the hell they do, right? It's always got like picturesque or like Prius or the Leaf. right? They're all these stupid names.
I've lost you.
Right?
I've lost you.
And they always use, I'm sorry, this is actually my rant now. They always use the little I. You know, like you have an iPhone, you have the little I in the big. What's the point of the little I? I don't care.
Little I. Yeah, I don't get
It's
that. I don't get
infuriating.
that. I think, are they trying to copy Apple? Are they trying to show class by copying Apple? Because I get it. Apple, amazing marketing. You've done it. You've done it great. Does that mean every other brand can piggyback off that?
And I'll be honest, if you put an I in front of the Prius, it just says iPrimus, which is just a network thing, right? So why?
Where did the M come from?
It's just everything with the little I is just, for me, it's just, I'm just not interested.
Yeah.
And it's just rubbish. I'm sorry. I'm
It's
just
not just
buying
for me,
any
he
of it.
says, as he holds his
Am I
iPhone.
I'm turning into an angry old man now, aren't I?
I mean, what do you mean turning?
Okay, he's not wrong. I've been like this for a while, all right? It's ridiculous. But, you know what, just to add, and I guess we can have this as a closing statement, I have some interesting facts for you I found out this week.
Okay, tell me.
Guess what the weight is on an automatic Hyundai i30N?
1350.
The weight?
The weight.
Yeah, the time. How long till it gets delivered?
Oh, wait time. I thought you said weight as in the
I was like,
the
bro,
kilograms.
I was like, nobody's waiting 1,350 days for a car. Like, what are you on about? What are you counting? Are you holding
weight. What is the weight on a car? Obviously, I go for kilograms.
I thought you were going to be like, I'm going to hold this stone and when it erodes, like my car will arrive or something. Like, no. How many months wait? Just stab in the dark. i30N, brand new.
12 months.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
They're talking December, January for an automatic.
Oh, that's quick.
There is two cars.
That's quick.
There is two cars at dealerships, right, at the moment. But these are not fully spec cars. These are just base spec.
Oh, yeah.
Right, okay?
I think
Without
if you
options.
spec it out, then it'll be like 12 months.
Yep.
From what I've seen.
That's for an i30, right?
From what I've seen, that's what's happening around the world. They are getting a lot better.
Yeah.
They're going down from 12 months because they started at something ridiculous, like 16 months for Golf Rs and stuff at one point.
Oh, they're ridiculous.
During this year, it wasn't even that long ago. I think it was like 3-4 months ago. The wait time on a Golf R was 56 weeks is what I said. Now it's a lot better.
Yeah.
Thankfully.
But, like, what do I feel like? You know when they do YouTube videos and, like, fun facts with whatever? That's what I feel like right now. But anyways, the other fun fact that I found out. Yeah, fun facts. Fun facts with Alex. That actually has a ring. I like that. Another fun fact, actually. I found out Tesla Cybertruck.
Yes.
No more pre-orders are being taken currently.
What, are they even making them?
No, but the pre-order list, you could deposit, I think it was $1,000 and you get your name on a waiting list for a Cybertruck.
Yeah.
That has been taken away because they think they won't be able to make up with demand.
Yeah, I'm glad. Stop throwing money at something that doesn't exist.
Not yet, right?
Everyone.
And
stop it.
There's
people who have...
And the windows break.
There's people who have pre-orders on the Tesla Roadster from, 4 years ago?
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous.
Come on, mate. It's never coming. Stop. Your money's gone.
And you know what?
He's focusing on going to Mars.
I know. It's so true.
He doesn't care.
He's got two priorities, Mars and Twitter. That's it at the moment.
That's it. That literally is.
And actually, this one's really interesting. You've surely you've seen it, but I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this right, but the Ineos Grenada.
You butchered that so
How do you say it?
Whatever you said was butchering whatever you were meant to say.
All right, you know what? I'm going to give this to you. And you give it a go.
Okay, I'll give it a go. I mean, I'm going to butcher it too, but...
I'm pretty sure this is how you say it. Okay. Have a read of what that name is there. You read it out into the microphone for the people.
Okay, I'll read it.
Okay, now give me the phone. No, give me the phone. You can't keep looking at it, right? Okay, go. What is it?
The Ineos Grenadier.
So you just said it like this?
No, you said...
Grenada, didn't I? I think I said Grenada, but anyways.
Grenadier, yeah.
And you know a bit about this, right?
Yeah.
So it's pretty much a Land Rover Defender, just a little bit nicer. Everything's a little bit nicer. And it's a remake, like it's a new, fresh
I
look.
saw it at Formula One in Melbourne.
Okay, now that's really cool because as of, I think it was about 2 weeks ago, roughly, pre-orders now being taken. You can spec your car on the website.
Yep.
We're actually going to have a play with it after this.
I sat in it.
But it is...
In Ineos. I sat in your seat. Thank you. I know I'm funny, man.
You're so cringe. That's a good one, though. That is a good one. But they are now ready, and you can spec yours now. We're going to have a play with it after. But I spec'd one, and look at... This is the reason why this is, for me, is Story of the Week, right? New topic, Story of the Week. That sort of works.
Story of the Week.
That's for next week. But this Story of the Week, the amazing thing is, I want you guys to go on that website. Shout out to them. Sponsor us, by the way, at... message us on our Insta. But go have a look at the options. It is amazing. The options, man. They've got like a kangaroo bar. They call the roo bar.
Yeah.
Okay. You can paint the freaking underbody chassis red if you want it.
What?
Okay. There is ladders coming from standard. You can wrap the front bar. So you can get the car in white, wrap the front like fascia that is around the lights and all the rest of it. You can get that in red, orange, yellow.
That's crazy.
The rear door. And
is this the one where you can get like the sunroof, which is like a circle or something?
that wasn't a pre-release, but when I looked on the website, it wasn't there.
Oh, okay,
but you'll love this. There is Safari windows.
What's a Safari window?
Okay, so you know the two front seats, yeah?
Yeah.
You know how you normally have a sunroof that sort of like opens outwards or whatever?
Yeah.
This has like two pop tops that you can pop open, stick your head out and shoot a gun out of.
That is the most American thing
It's sick.
ever heard.
It's just got two little poppy windows, right? And the best thing is they've designed the car with the poppy windows because it actually comes down a little bit at the front, right?
Yeah.
So you can have the poppy, whatever you call them, Safari windows, and a roof rack on top.
Oh, that's cool.
Right? And it has some of the best options I've ever seen on a car. It's amazing.
I mean, I'll never use it to shoot a gun out of, but I would enjoy it.
You can get like...
Maybe shoot a photograph out of.
And they got a 4x4 ute coming. They've got the standard, like one which looks like a normal Defender.
Should buy this.
Or you can get the panel van where there's two doors at the back but no seats.
Oh.
And the rest is just open. And no glass.
Cool.
Sorry, the rear doors have glass, but the rear... I don't know what you call them.
With side panels, I'm just going to say.
Side panels, I guess. Yeah. Like the boot section. You can just get them with metal.
That's so cool.
It's amazing. It is
Why
amazing.
do I think it's like 150K?
Well, I spec'd mine to my specification of what I wanted last night.
Yeah.
98 grand.
Full
spec, brand new. BMW twin turbo diesel, Australian dollars, 98 grand.
What? Come on. That's...
Right.
This is going to be revolutionary.
It's great.
But is it mass produced? I don't know.
Yeah, it is mass produced.
It is.
Apparently it will be. Well,
that's so good.
The only reason I think it's mass produced is because when you have engine options, you've got two options of engines, right? You've got a twin turbo V6 diesel from BMW.
Yeah.
And a twin turbo V6. No, sorry, a petrol turbocharged BMW engine as well, which I think is it's the 3 liter off the top of my head, but it's amazing.
That sounds amazing. Yeah. Oh my God.
For that price point.
I want one.
Yeah.
We should go halvesies.
Dude. Oh my gosh.
God, we should have
that just a freaking tow car for everything.
That would be, like, oh my God. Imagine the videos we can do. Imagine all the cool stuff, all the safaris that we can go on.
Oh my God, man. We have to record the safari episode now because the new car.
Yes. Yeah, right. Oh, that would be so cool.
But you know what we're going to do? We're going to wrap this up, but I'm going to show him this thing, okay?
Yeah.
And we're going to take the beginning of the next episode for him to review this car because he will be blown away. It is absolutely amazing.
If we remember this.
Which we might not. We'll see.
Yeah, probably not.
But thanks for listening all. Go subscribe. What else do they say these days? Subscribe, turn the bell notification on.
What?
The bell notification thing. What are you talking about?
The
bell notification.
The bell
on
the thing.
No, but on the thing, but on Spotify and YouTube, right?
No, just YouTube. There's no bell on. Oh, there's alerts. You can turn on alerts.
Alerts and bell on YouTube and Spotify and Google, whatever.
Also, keen-eyed viewers will see that I have video on the Spotify.
It's true. We're moving up in the world. We've got click the bell. What is it? Click the bell. Like, this is the worst outro I've ever done, but continue.
I'm going to mute this guy now. What I was going to say is please go to our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to us and hit the
notification button so you know when we subscribe. Not subscribe.
You're
upload.
You're screwing me up.
All right, once and for all, cleanly finish it.
I think they get the point. I think you guys get the point. I think you're smarter than us. Just
And
do your
message
thing.
us on the Instagram at the Automotive Society underscore with questions, queries, topics, or something you want us to talk about. Or if you want to come on the show, actually, you know what?
Yeah.
If you want to come on the show and you've got what it takes to make it and the coolest car ever, message us on Instagram.
Because we've made it. We're the judges.
We've obviously,
the greatest.
You will be at the hands of our judgment.
Yeah. Good luck.
Good luck.
But yeah, thank you all for listening and
See you next week.
see you next week.